Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Farthest Frontier. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. We have learned quite a bit. We as in me. Still trying to figure out. I haven't messed with. What's a widget? Oh, I can turn some of this crap off. Oh boy. See where everybody's at. That's kind of useful. What's 4? Oh, nice. I could turn that off. Or I can get more information. That's pretty good too. I like that view. Just depends on how much clutter you want. But anyway, where we're at today. We did get tier 3. Do have palisade walls around the critical infrastructure, and nothing so far has been able to come through the pond, so I'm not really worried too much about that. Did start a quarry down here, which was going to be just to harvest rock and wood, and it really turned out to be a whole lot more. It's actually almost a miniature city. Or village. I've got a fire splitter. I built a trading outpost down here, kind of regretting it now. We'll talk a lot about that in just a minute. I put a wagon down here to help speed up transfer of goods to and from this area. Temporary shelters, we're going to talk a lot about those. Right now, they're not even using them because before I learned about those, I started building these, just the tier 1 shelters. And good thing I did just click on those because I noticed that waste is building up in them. So probably have to build a compost down here. But anyway, where is my actual logging? What I wanted to click on. That's the stockyard. That one right here. So one thing you can actually do is instead of rebuilding buildings, some of these, like the hunter, the hunt stop, you can actually set the radius on where they hunt. You can move it around. So I noticed there's some rocks over here. Not a lot though, not enough to actually move my whole operation. It does change the travel time, but if you see that trees and rocks are being depleted, and right now, as you can tell, all I'm doing is really trees. I could actually just turn rocks off and just go complete wood. There's no rocks here. I can actually click on that. I can move that circle to any targeted area. And they'll start actually working that area. And you can check on the travel time. Further out, obviously, the longer distance. But we're not really hurting too much for lumber, so I'm not going to worry about it. I did build storage for it here. For bricks and lumber and firewood, since I'm now producing it. Built a smokehouse here. One of the things I noticed, and you might have this happen to you as well, is starvation. It's going to say your people are hungry. They have food requirements. So all of as you start to level up these houses from tier 1 to tier 2, these shelters, this is one of the 2s. You can see that, actually that's a 1. The homestead is what they upgrade to. You can see they have different requirements, and one of them is to have 2 sources of food. So you can have all the meat in the world, but if you don't have, and I don't want that screen, I want the first one. If you notice right here, I'll leave it up. If you don't have variable sources of food, and you just say have all meat, it's going to say your people are hungry. and that you're running out of food. So you want to be mindful of these. Make sure you're producing enough vegetables or fruit just to get that second. Because for one thing, fruits decay really fast because I don't have the barrels. I can't make the barrels. This is kind of one of my pet peeves with the game so far, is that it is so hard to get to where the requirements for tier 3. Because I need 25. So right now I have 13 homesteads of 25 that I need. Everything else I've met right away. And the only way to get these, you can't go to the menu, which is kind of confusing. But if you go to build home and go to housing, this is not a tier 2 house. These are if you don't read, these are temporary shelters that actually stock more food and more supplies for these far out outposts. Like say you got a mine way up in the mountains, and as you can see, I'm already starting to get flagged. Part of the reason is they're probably stockpiling my temporary shelter with those extra resources that I need. And they are. No one's using it. I'm destroying them. It's right now I think it's just one. But that's going to help some of that issue. But the other is I'm just not maintaining a sufficient enough oops. See, they've got food. They just don't have all the right food. So it's at 50% right now. But if you can look in here, I've got more meat than I know what to do with. More than enough to feed this community. But if you look, all the vegetables are where they're down. It also kind of predicts how much you're going to lose to spoilage. So some of that factors into that. And you can even see here, protein, fish, and meat. I've always got tons of it. But like no grain. And then vegetables. You can look at each one of them. You can see how much of it's spoiled and how much was consumed. So we're wasting an awful lot of resources. And the only way to fix that is preserves. And we can't. There's no way to make preservatives until tier 3. So the only thing I can do right now is try to get to the point where I can make all the items to make these barrels. And let me get the right building. Each of these buildings that serve up food actually get, for each barrel, you get 5% spoilage reduction. One of the other tier 3 buildings, if you go to the building menu, you start looking at food production. There's a preservist building. It starts to pickle things. Can't build these until you get to the town center to tier 3. Another problem I have right now is some of these tier 2 resources actually you can't use a bakery if you have no grain. I need these machine tools. So I can't even finish even if I was growing wheat, I can't grind it down into a flour without those tools. So I've been looking in here, try to figure out where those tools are made. And the last time that I looked, and I'll show you, I believe it's a tier 3. I'll double check, but it's like a smithy right there, produces. So the blacksmith actually makes those. So the tools I need for cows, which require fields, the swords that I need for my towers or an army, all that is tier 3. And in order to get the bars, I need to make a lot of those buildings. I can mine ore right now, but I can't smelt it. So I'm at a hard place right now. I can make honey. I could make that right now, but it's not unlocked. And then glass. So all I can do is go back to what I do have. I don't think these should be in tier 3. You can't make the steel bars. To make those items. If that makes any sense at all. What's the point in having an armory that I can build right now with all when I don't have the capabilities to make the bars? So it boils down to trying to buy them. One thing I noticed is all the carts that come in, which, by the way, you don't get any notification that a cart showed up to trade with. So we can talk a little bit about what this can do. So like soap, I'm overproducing soap, so I decided I'm going to go ahead and stockpile it. As you can see, I got 94 here. In order to set that, you just go into here, set the threshold, and it keeps these in stock. Right now I'm doing clay because I don't really have much of a use for it. In fact, I'm actually going to increase that even more because I have been making money off of it. And then some of the clothing, just don't have enough people. And then honey, I'm able to make honey right now. And I just built actually another, call them beekeeper, apathy, whatever they are. And these are probably more people. Oh, those are mine. Okay. I thought more immigrants were coming in. I just don't have the additional room for them. So we'll get through here. So what I did to get those additional food sources is I changed some of my growth over to, and I can see I'm suffering for it too, because I'm not getting that boost. But I've been, one of the things you'll want to do, you have waste that builds up, and I believe my sound. Let me make sure that audio did not. And for the life of me, I don't know why it keeps creeping back up. But you'll need to build a compost, and that's one of these. And they'll take this waste from all your houses and spoilage from your storage facilities. So I'm not too worried about spoilage because it actually goes to making compost. But once this is finished, you can dump these right on these fields and get your fertility up to almost max. I mean, literally, it's flying up. So, no, my people aren't starving. They're just not happy. And it's only a couple of them. 8 villages are unhappy. Everybody else is happy as can be. So, I haven't really been paying much attention to this anymore. If at all. Now, how do we get that up? Well, we got to figure out again how to get this. And I hit the G key. It's basically showing me the desirability. And to get these to spawn up, you can click on any one of these and it tells you how short you are. So I'm only off by 5 points here. And they each need herbs, which I have no problem with those. 2 food types. Q 2 food types. That means you need to maintain that. So that, hence why I'm getting these. Your people are starving. They're not dying. But once they get to the next requirement, they're going to need 3. So you better be ready. But it's nice to have those because they pay more taxes. But I need that magic number. So let's see, how many am I short? So 13 of 25. I need quite a few. And I gotta figure out a way to squeeze them in here. Which it's gonna be hard to see in the winter. Which kinda stinks. Why is it keeping that there? There we go. I have to wait for winter to go away. So I kind of overdid it with these roads. Going at angles. And I wasted a lot of space. I was almost considering just scrapping this whole map and starting over. But I learned a lot in the process of doing this about upkeep in the towers, your healer, actually using those herbs and creating different medicines for your people as they get hurt. And the other thing is, as you accumulate these funds, you start getting rich, raiders start coming. You're gonna have to have towers. So I'm really having problems with getting this market. I need it somewhere central. And it needs to be around the town. So I'm gonna redo it. And have that centralized around the rest of my central area within the fence, because it does hold money and goods, so it's a target. And right now I only have one tower and no walls. Or I could just wall this in, but that just seems like an awful lot of waste. And as far as desirability, it's kind of no hope for it. Unless I kind of relocate these houses over. I might do that. Kind of push the houses over here. And keep all these undesirable, noisy things over here. But that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this whole thing. And then I've got a whole nother area up here, which has a cow field, which I can't use yet because I need both tools and I have to buy the cows. And I can actually upgrade this already. But you still need to buy the cows. There's no point in upgrading, just a waste. But I've got a clay pit up here and I'm selling the clay. I've got a school, so I'm actually educating my folks. And that does have a prestige level associated with it. So, as you can see, the whole area just kind of greened up around here. And I'm trying to supplement some of these others. But you need tier 3 to even advance to the next level. But at least I found a way to make a lot of money. There's no shortage of that. Another thing I'll mention is that some of this stuff doesn't unlock automatically when you and it does show what brings down desirability. So that's a thing you can pay attention to, like work camps. That's how you can tell dropping it down is either going to have a positive or negative impact to your main residential area. So yeah, we've learned a lot about housing. So yeah, would I like to be able to do some of these other things early on? Absolutely. Or just take them and move them to tier 3 completely. But it is early access, so hopefully those are some of the changes that they're going to make. So now I've got to debate whether to move this over and start a whole, high prestige area over here, or just scrap the whole thing. Because I actually want to harvest these out with my work. Because I want to get my stone up higher. If we're going to do that, we're going to need roads. So we can move that circle over here and start pulling out those rocks. And we'll just set that to maybe 1 to 1. And then I also built an orchard, which allows you to plant trees with fruit. And it's one worker. And then I did put a wagon over there, even though it doesn't seem to be making a difference on travel time. Which I thought it would do, but it's not. You can see how much work they've done. They're idle 81% of the time. So we're gonna kill that too. It's just not doing anything. So these graphs and charts really come in handy. So I'll keep an eye on those. But it'd be nice if I was just recording. Unfortunately, I just streamed this out real quick. So it's episode 3 is going to be really short because I've got just some decisions to make. Whether I try to salvage this out or just build another area out here to get the additional housing I need to get to tier 3. Just to get it unlocked. And then start worrying about all this other stuff later. So we'll end up with 2 areas. And potentially just use them both or combine them and just have one massive city that big. That's a lot of wood for palisades, or then that'll be a lot of rock to get it to the higher, build those the tall stone fortress walls. My bad boy's always full. All right, so that's my short 22-minute update on the kind of snag I hit with this build. And we're gonna change a lot as far as gardens or our crops. More crop fields with different variations of vegetables. And to be honest, I really didn't like this map. So I'm leaning more and more towards just restarting. It did take that long. I mean, you can get to tier 2 in less than an hour. It's really easy to get there. So we'll be back soon with that update.